Hello and welcome. This video will help you understand some of the key themes and arguments of Francis Fukuyama's book, Identity, Contemporary Identity Politics and the Struggle for Recognition. The book tackles the juicy topic of identity in modern politics and society. While Fukuyama acknowledges that identity politics can be a powerful tool for righting historical wrongs and embracing diversity, he warns that it can also lead to some nasty tribalism and potentially undermine the foundations of liberal democracy. Fukuyama introduces the term politics of dignity to describe a political movement that seeks recognition and respect for historically marginalized groups. He argues that this movement arises in response to the shortcomings of liberal democracy in addressing the needs and concerns of these groups, and notes that many political leaders, in the past and today, mobilize followers around the perception that their group's dignity has been affronted. He draws upon ancient Greek philosophy to describe the three parts of the soul, thumos, eros, and logos. Thumos represents the desire for recognition, self-esteem, and dignity. Eros represents the desire for self-gratification and pleasure. Logos represents reason and the pursuit of truth. All three parts are important in shaping human behavior and identity, but thumos in particular plays a crucial role as it drives individuals to seek recognition and respect from others. Our sense of identity is also closely related to our emotions, particularly those related to the feelings of pride, shame, and anger, and they play an important role in shaping our identities and how we see ourselves in relation to others. All in all, a person's sense of identity is closely tied to their sense of dignity. He furthermore argues that the desire for dignity is a fundamental human motivation that underpins the development of liberal democracy, and suggests that people who feel their dignity has been violated or denied are more likely to demand political and social recognition and fight for their rights. Fukuyama even contends that modern liberal democracies emerged as a result of people's demand for dignity, rather than merely as a result of economic and technological factors. He also discusses the role of dignity in various historical revolutions, such as the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and the Civil Rights Movement, and argues that these revolutions, and revolutions such as the Arab Spring, were not just about economic and political power, but also about the desire for recognition and dignity. In other words, the desire for dignity is a powerful force for social and political change, and it'll continue to shape the course of history. Fukuyama explores the complex and multifaceted nature of human identity, arguing that it has both individual and social dimensions. According to Fukuyama, human dignity centers on an individual's ability to make proper moral choices, and the liberal tradition has institutionalized one version of individual autonomy by granting equal rights to citizens. However, he also points out that moral confusion arose with the disappearance of a shared religious horizon, leading to a crisis of identity. Human beings are social creatures with inclinations to conform to the norms surrounding them, and a crisis of identity leads away from expressive individualism and may lead to nationalism. Fukuyama also explores the relationship between nationalism and religion and their role in identity formation. He argues that religion has historically played a crucial role in the development of national identity, providing a shared set of values, symbols, and rituals that bind individuals together in a common identity. However, he notes that religion can also be a source of division, as different religious groups may have different interpretations of national identity. He suggests that while nationalism and religion can be complementary, they can also be in tension with one another, requiring a delicate balance to maintain a cohesive national identity. Some individuals feel invisible or excluded from mainstream society due to their identity. Fukuyama suggests that this feeling of invisibility can arise from a range of factors, including race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, and socioeconomic status. He argues that this invisibility can lead to a sense of resentment and disaffection, which can in turn fuel identity politics and social unrest. Even people who occupy positions of privilege or authority can feel invisible or resentful if they believe that their social status is not being fully acknowledged or appreciated. Fukuyama suggests that a deeper understanding of the sources of invisibility and exclusion can help to create a more inclusive and cohesive society, and calls for greater empathy and solidarity across different identities and experiences. With the decline of religion, there's been a shift towards a more therapeutic approach in popular culture and social policy. This has been most prominently observed in universities, which have been at the forefront of the therapeutic revolution. The therapeutic model has emerged from modern understandings of identity and has contributed to the development of modern identity politics, which centers around the struggle for the recognition of dignity. One reason that identity politics has become embedded in the United States and other liberal democracies is a rising concern over self-esteem. Fukuyama suggests that the rise of identity politics has led to a proliferation of group identities as individuals seek recognition and validation from an increasingly diverse range of identity groups. He argues that this fragmentation can undermine social cohesion and the universalist principles of liberal democracy by promoting a narrow and exclusive focus on individual group identities. He suggests that a more nuanced understanding of identity, one that acknowledges the complexity and diversity of individual identity, can help to promote a more inclusive and tolerant society. He calls for a renewed emphasis on shared national identity and a recognition of the importance of universal values as a way to counteract the negative effects of identity fragmentation and promote social cohesion. While there's nothing wrong with identity politics as such, it's a natural response to injustice, it becomes problematic when it replaces serious thinking about greater socioeconomic inequality. It tends to divert attention from older and larger groups whose problems then gets ignored, and it can threaten free speech. Finally, identity politics on the left stimulates identity politics on the right, which is not what anyone should want. National identity begins with a shared belief in the country's political system, whether democratic or not. Weak national identity leads to problems, as seen in e.g. Yemen and Libya. According to Fukuyama, a national identity can be built around liberal and democratic political values. It can be critical to the quality of government, economic development, trust, social safety nets, and to liberal democracy itself. The idea that nations should be superseded by international bodies will not work as they cannot be held democratically accountable. Though Fukuyama does believe that the European Union should focus on creating a stronger sense of shared identity among its citizens to counter the rise of identity politics and right-wing populism. The type of identity politics currently practiced on both the left and right are deeply problematic because it returns to understanding identity on the basis of fixed characteristics like race, ethnicity, and religion. Fukuyama says that we cannot get away from identity or identity politics, nor should we wish to get rid of the demand for dignity. We should, however, try to steer identity politics back to broader forms of mutual respect for dignity. He argues that it's important to strike a balance between the legitimate demands of different identity groups and the need for a shared sense of national identity. He also calls for a renewed emphasis on civic education to ensure that citizens are equipped with the knowledge and skills necessary to engage in democratic discourse and to uphold the values of liberal democracy. He suggests that a shared national identity can be promoted through the teachings of history, civics, and political philosophy. Finally, Fukuyama emphasizes the importance of political leadership in promoting a vision of national identity that is inclusive, tolerant, and committed to the values of liberal democracy. In conclusion, Francis Fukuyama's Identity offers a thought-provoking analysis of the challenges posed by identity politics in today's world, and argues for the importance of a shared national identity in promoting social cohesion and democratic governance. It's a good book. I highly recommend reading it. If you found this video useful, please feel free to leave your comments and questions below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more thought-provoking content. Thank you for watching.